Your thoughts are incredibly powerful. Your life is moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. But the good news is you're not a victim of your thoughts. By the power of God, you can actually choose what you think about, and what you think about determines how you live. Your thoughts are incredibly powerful, and you have incredible power over your thoughts. In fact, it was the Apostle Paul who said this in Romans chapter 8, verses 5 and 6. He said, "Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires." What did he mean by that? He wasn't talking about our skin. The word in the Greek is the word sarx, and it essentially means our fleshly or our sinful nature. What he's essentially saying is those who live according to their sinful nature, they have their minds set on what the sinful nature desires. Then he says the good news is, but those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. Now, how does this impact us? Verse 6 tells us, the mind governed by the flesh is what? Is death, it's darkness, it's destruction. But the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. If you find yourself hurting, if you find yourself feeling broken, if you find yourself often being discouraged, could it be that your mind is set on the things of this world instead of set on the things of God? Because when you set your mind on the things of God and the things of your spirit, you will find life and peace in all that you do. Why is negativity so toxic? At its root, we need to understand that we have what's called a negativity bias. We're biased toward that which is negative, and neuroscience actually shows us that negative events imprint on our brains more quickly and linger longer than positive ones. Negative events, something bad, something tragic, something unfortunate, seems to hit our brains and sticks longer than positive ones, and I can prove it with several examples. What do you think spreads faster on social media? Something positive or something negative? And the answer is something negative. On any news app, which news stories gets more clicks, the negative ones or the positive ones? And the answer is the negative ones. They will say if it bleeds, it leads. And then for you, if you have a presentation coming up and you're really nervous about it, and you do the presentation and you do a good job, and afterwards 5 different people say, "Wow, that was amazing. You crushed it. That was so powerful. I love what you did." 5 people loved it, and 1 person makes a negative comment. At the end of the day, are you thinking about the 5 positive things, or are you lamenting the 1 negative thing? If you're like me, I'm lamenting the 1 negative thing. And what happens, unfortunately, is chronic negativity, it sends us into a constant state of fight or flight. And we're actually wired this way. It's not initially bad until it becomes bad, because in any stressful situation, God actually designed our brains to release cortisol into the blood system. And that's a good thing at first. It makes us more alert, it makes us more focused, it makes us ready to deal with a problem, and it's good until it's not. When we become chronically negative, when we're stuck in an ongoing negative loop, we always feel like we're in danger. We always feel like there is a threat. Paul said it this way: the mind governed by the flesh is death, but the mind governed by the Spirit is life and peace. What happens is when most of what you see online is negative, and most of what your friends say is negative, and most of what you say to yourself is negative, and most of what you hear about in the news is negative, when you focus on the negative, what you're doing is you're creating negative neural pathways. We've talked about this a lot. When you think a thought once, it's easier to think a thought again. And when you focus on the negative and you think on the negative some more, and you hang around negative people, and you're surrounded by criticism, and you never think the best, but you always think the worst, you're creating negative neural pathways, and very literally for you, negativity becomes a habit. It's a default posture. It's that things are gonna be bad and they're gonna get worse, and you can't trust anybody, and everybody's gonna let you down, and all Christians are this, and life sucks, and it's getting worse, and my mental health is bad, and I'm never gonna get anywhere, and I'm never gonna be happy, and I'm never gonna have a ministry, and there's never gonna be anything that really matters in life. I'm always gonna be stuck here. And very literally, negativity becomes your default habit posture. Think about it. The mind governed by the flesh is death. The news you consume, the shows that you watch, the lyrics to the music that you play over and over and over and over again, the social media that you consume that makes you feel left out or jealous or angry or less than, the people that you spend your time around, they all create this inner script that directs your life. Your thoughts have incredible power over the direction of your life. But the good news is, you have incredible power over where your thoughts are taking you. What I want to do is I want to now try to help you identify where you're most prone to negativity, because we all are. When I looked into my own life, I found a very specific category that I've really worked on for a long period of time, and with the help of God's word, he's been renewing my mind, and I've made significant progress. The first one is what I might call relational cynicism. Relational cynicism. What is this? Cynicism is a general distrust for people and their motives. It's you can't trust people, they're gonna take advantage of you, everyone is out for themselves, all those people are this way, no matter what you do, they're looking out for their interests, nobody's really generous, nobody's really benevolent, you can't really trust people. I really think people are out for themselves all the time. I really don't have a good view of people. You might just say it, this is what I am, I'm relationally cynical. There's a second category that's called negative filtering. Negative filtering. And this is just seeing what's wrong, finding the worst possible thing to point out. It's overlooking what's good, it's overlooking what's right, it's maybe assuming the worst possible outcome. Your kids are running late, and you think, oh my gosh, they must have been in an accident. And you thought that the last 18 times they were late, and they were never in an accident, but you continue to think that. Or you text your friend, and your friend doesn't respond for 2 hours. Oh my gosh, my friend must be mad at me. It's looking for what's wrong instead of looking for what's right. And we see this a lot of times in a lot of different ways. You can go on a vacation, and you find what's wrong with the vacation. You go to a restaurant, and you find what's wrong with the restaurant. You meet a person, you figure out what's wrong with the person. You go to church, and bless God, you know what's wrong with that church. It's negative filtering. It's finding what's wrong instead of seeing what's right. Some of you, that's yours. There's another category that's called absolute thinking. And this is polarized thoughts. This is kind of the all or nothing, black or white. If a man hurts you, all men are bad. If a woman lies to you, all women are liars. If a Republican does something, all Republicans are all Democrats are this or whatever. And the final one would be blaming. Blaming. And this is simply believing that you're always a victim. The reason you're where you are is because someone else did something and got in your way, or took your toy, or didn't give you a chance, and you feel like you don't have any control over what's happening to you. You're just a victim of life and circumstances, and there's no way for you to get ahead because the world is stacked against you. That raises the question, if you find yourself constantly jealous, or critical, or discontented, or assuming the worst, or you're hard on other people and negative about other people, or you're hard on yourself, can you change? Can you shift from a chronically negative mindset to one that's full of faith and reflects the heart and the character of God? You can change your perspective, but to change from negative to positive, it is not natural and it is not accidental. You might need a little supernatural help from God and a little intentional work on your end. And it really, really matters because your thoughts are more powerful than you can imagine, and you have more power over your thoughts than you think you do.